Bicycle, bicycle, bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle, bicycle, bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride my bike. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride it where I like.
I was advised by the physio at the hospital to start using the exercise bike. She said it would be good for me. When I began though, it really made my knee stiff and I lost quite a bit of movement early on. I think it was in combination of trying to do too much to get my leg moving. I wanted to try and get my leg moving as quickly as I could so I would lose as less movement as possible. But I think I just overworked myself and it became very difficult to actually pedal. You can hear there's a point where I'm actually at the gym and I'm on the bike and I get this burst of pain through my leg. I think it just wanted some rest and needed to heal up, or it either wasn't used to the movement, I don't know, but it was really sore. I had to stop for a few weeks. I'm back at it now though. My leg's at a point where it can cope with it. I want to continue with the cycling daily. I want to get so I can be on the bike for maybe 20 minutes. The most I've done so far is 15 minutes. Usually I aim for 10. I think I'm progressing quite well.
So I guess in wrestling we kind of tend to find the worst injuries come at the stupidest times or when you don't think it's going to happen. So from what I remember at training, I was there and we were about to get in the ring after some cardio and I looked over and I saw Ryan kind of crumple on the ground and start holding his leg and screaming. So we at the time didn't really know what was wrong. We thought maybe he'd just tweaked his knee, or I know I've had MCL issues in the past, which isn't too serious but does hurt a lot and does cause a bit of a setback. So we kind of thought, okay, it's the inside of the knee, maybe that's what it is, and obviously far worse than that. But yeah, just a silly little thing that probably shouldn't have happened, but something that 99 out of 100 times wouldn't cause any issue at all. And as with pro wrestling, that's when it all happens. My MCL injury was a complete tear of the MCL. I did it in a wrestling match actually with Travis Banks in Adelaide a few years ago. So I went for a drop kick, he landed on me and just an awkward landing. And I remember thinking something was kind of a little bit wrong at the time, but as with knee injuries, you wake up the next day, adrenaline's worn off, and that's when you feel the pain. So MCL, it's a good spot because that's apparently where the blood flow is. So for me, it was about 6 to 8 weeks that I was out for, and then no surgery, just pretty basic rehab. So you know, that's what we all hope to get, but having an ACL injury is far worse than that. That needs proper surgery. So I was very fortunate to only have such a minor injury and such a quick rehab. Like we always say in pro wrestling, you'll wrestle a ladder match, a hardcore match, a cage match, and you'll walk out feeling good as new. And then you go in there and have a quick little wrestle around at training, and all of a sudden you wake up the next day with a crooked neck and a bad shoulder and damaged wrists and all sorts. So nature of the beast, you know, we know it's not ballet. We know we come into this with a lot of risk, and sometimes at the least obvious place, we see a lot of injury and a lot of problems arising.
One of the things you can see how much more straight my leg is now from some earlier footage that I shot. At first, I really wasn't getting anywhere without the weight, the bag of sand I've been putting on my knee. But as you can see, I've really progressed after only a few weeks. I've still not returned to work, still a lot of things I can't do, but looking on the bright side, there's a lot more things I can do. I'm getting there, I'm beginning to actually build myself back up now. The exercises I don't feel like are just failing. I'm not just pushing and scratching and clawing and getting absolutely nowhere. I'm actually now making progress. I'm seeing the results. It's only been a few weeks and I'm seeing them.
So about a year or so before I started wrestling as Cano, I actually had a really, really violent beach volleyball accident. My shoulder went to the side, just popped completely out. I didn't really realize how bad it was, so I kept wrestling on it for a good year and a half. And then it got to a point where I was just dislocating like twice a match, and it was a bit over the top. Got it checked out. Turns out I had 2 torn tendons, torn labrum, and the ball socket, instead of being like this, was like that. So it just kind of kept slipping out. So it was kind of gross. Got a nice little scar from it, if you can zoom in on my nice little scar. Oh, you actually zoomed in, okay. Yeah, that took me out of action for 6 months, which was 3 months because I'm stupid. I was on 4 different kinds of painkillers, which led to me not pooping for a week, like literally 7 days. It was really gross. God, I forgot about this actually. Yeah, there were these suppository things I needed to take just to kind of ease everything, but it still took 7 days for them to work. Honestly, I can't relate to what you're going through. Not only because the severity of this injury and how long it's taken you out, but also knowing what you've been through, man. So for me to say I can empathize with what you've been through is really shallow, honestly. I was out of action for a couple of months and then was pretty much right as rain, and you had to fight through a lot more than I have. So yeah, I don't like saying that I can empathize with you because I don't know what it feels like. Given the timing with Damian Slater and that match that you had where you really, that was your coming out party, and it just couldn't have happened to a nicer guy who had worked so hard to get to that point. And it was just, at first when I heard about it through social media, I thought you just got a concussion at training, and I was like, oh man, that really sucks for him, he'll be out for a bit. And then we all found out what had actually happened, so just breaks your heart, honestly. Can't. It's the classic thing. Why do bad things happen to good people? Get well soon, mate. We've been tag partners, we've wrestled each other, multiple companies. Let's not make this the last time. Before I go anywhere, before you go anywhere, one more time in the WA ring, Ryan Allan versus Cano. Let's make it happen.
I want to ride my bicycle, 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 bicycle. I want a bicycle race.
So in the last month and a bit, I've really progressed with the cycling. A couple of weeks ago, I managed to go half an hour, and to me, that was when I started to think, wow, you're really beginning to get somewhere. Your legs are beginning to manage a lot. The same goes for progressing off my crutches. It's been really frustrating being stuck on crutches for so long. I have a friend who recently also had his ACL surgery, and he's already off crutches. He only had his surgery in October. So that goes to show how long I was on crutches for. Mainly because I couldn't straighten my leg. Well, I managed to straighten it, and I progressed from 2 crutches onto 1, and then onto none. It took me a little bit of time to get the hang of walking and to get comfortable walking and to feel right in myself to progress properly off the crutches. It took me about a week and a half, really. Quicker than I thought I would be, considering I've lost a lot of strength in my leg, but I've managed to build a percentage of that back up. I'm doing pretty good now without the crutches. It's been a real tough road, but I think the worst of it is now over, and I'm now 5 months since the initial surgery. Otherwise, I'm still progressing at the gym, still working as hard as I can to build myself up in endeavors outside of wrestling. Now I've got some more rehab exercises ahead of me, mainly building the strength back up in my leg. So it's all looking really good now, and I'm really happy with the progress I've made over the last month and a bit.